Welcome to Bishop+Rook's Defender TV, the place where we show you the behind-the-scenes work on what it takes to preserve and restore vintage Land Rovers. When a vehicle comes to us with a unique character, history, or provenance, we do whatever we can to maintain that unique story. And in this case, we had a donor truck which had been pretty well maintained and documented over the years, and simply needed a good servicing and light restoration work. The focus of this video will be on the chassis preservation process. An untrained eye might dismiss this donor vehicle due to unique patina and signs of use, but we saw it as one of the best chassis we had actually seen in years. Not only were there no rust holes, but the chassis had never been patched in its 30+ year lifetime. The only thing it suffered from was a little surface corrosion that made the vehicle look a little bit tired. So we took this as a challenge and an opportunity to show people what to look for in a donor chassis and how to preserve it for many years to come. If you like the content that we're producing here on Defender TV, feel free to like, subscribe, do that stuff that we think you're supposed to do at this point in time in the video. With any chassis preservation process, the first thing that you're going to want to do is eliminate any dirt, grime, grease, oil, or any foreign matter that's sort of collected underneath the chassis over the years.
Like a lot of dirt and most of the crust came off. Give us a nice clean surface to recoat it and be good for another 40 years. A lot of this is really clean. That's still black paint. What looked like rust was just a lot of dirt buildup from years of having fun. Looks nice and rustic, exceptionally clean underneath. No rust holes, no big bubbles, just a small layer of surface rust with some dirt mixed in, and 95% of that washed off with some hot water. So. Why does it have any noticeable patches? No, I don't even think it's been patched. I think it's an original chassis that's just real nice, honestly. It's kind of surprising. 40 years old and good as ever.
After power washing and steam cleaning the chassis outside, we let it dry for a few hours before we brought it in the shop. Took off the wheels and started to prepare the Corroseal. We're going to use this spray method. This could work just as well with the brush-on method. The spray gets into the tighter grooves and nooks and crannies a little bit better, as well as it doesn't leave any brush marks. So this is the dry chassis. As you can see, it's got a little bit of surface rust, but that's actually a good thing for the product that we're using because it'll interact with that chemistry and create that encapsulation layer on top.
To convert the minor amounts of rust on our chassis that doesn't need to be repaired, we like to use Corroseal. It converts all the little speckles of rust and stuff back to a primeable surface. And you can either roll it on, brush it on, spray it on. We prefer the spray-on method because it goes on a lot smoother, a lot less, no brush strokes. Some of the places that are a little bit worse, you might have to get a brush in there and really get it on thick, but this leaves a nice smooth finish when we're done. It kind of looks like a brand new factory chassis, so we really do enjoy the spray method over any of the brush methods. When this stuff goes on, it goes on kind of white, and as it starts converting, it'll turn purple, and that's how you know where the surface rust is. And then as it dries, it'll turn to a nice black sheen, like the factory paint job on a chassis. Pretty cool stuff, actually. You can literally watch it work. minutes ago, you saw us spray this creamy liquid on here, the Corroseal. You can already see it's starting to turn purple for us. It means it's doing its job. It's converting the rust over. So about 5 to 10 minutes of time, it'll start turning like a dark, deep purple, and then it'll turn black and shiny and almost look like a freshly painted chassis. So it makes real nice work of this instead of getting under here with wire brushes or a sanding wheel or sandblasting, which is time consuming and expensive. If you start with a nice chassis, this is a great way to go about redoing it.
We let the Corroseal dry and cure up overnight, which allowed it to convert the chassis to a black primable surface and ready to take a top coat. And there's a lot of different options that you have for chassis paint, such as Chassis Saver or Pour 15. But what we chose is the traditional Rust-Oleum in a can enamel paint, but not just the quick dry stuff, the stuff that takes about 8 hours to cure up. It hardens much stronger, and it actually leaves a really good protective coat on your chassis or any part of the Defender body for that matter. And the reason why we chose this method is, one, it's available everywhere, but secondly is in the future if you need to sort of patch in anything or if we missed any spots, because painting over black primer with black paint is a little difficult. It allows anybody to go to any hardware store and just touch it up, and it'll be good for life. This is stuff that we've used on other projects that are much more show car finish, and it works really well. That's one of the things that Rust-Oleum over the years has really figured out is paint chemistry. So just because it's available at a hardware store doesn't mean it's not great paint. So we'll show you how it goes, and you'll be pleasantly surprised at the results of what just a few hours of work spraying the Corroseal does and a couple hours worth of top coating it with some Rust-Oleum. It's a pretty impressive finish.